This daf Yerushalmi Shabbos. The article Oz V'Hada edition on Daf Daled Amralf. The last word on the first line, Rabuna B'Shem Rav, which in the Vilna is on Gimel Amud Beis. The second line, Rabuna B'Shem Rav. Everybody agrees if you toss something from a Rishus Yochid to a Rishus Rabim or vice versa through a Carmelist, that you're chayiv. Dibra Kolu. Everybody agrees with that. She'ein avir Carmelist k'mamosha. The airspace of the Carmelist is not like the substance of the Carmelist. It's not as if it rested in the Carmelist, and therefore you're chayiv for otzah. Mapligim v'motzi. The machlekes is by motzi when you actually are walking it out between one rishus and another rishus to a Carmelist. Ben Azai, I think I said Ula the other day. Ben Azai is the one in the Bavli, of course, who says Ben Azai is poter. He says Mahalach is kemeniach, like Rabbi Yossi says here. Said on Amrav, Chacham Mechayim Chacham Meseir Chayiv. Ben Azai Ovid Hamhalach Kemeniach, not like the Bavli's language of Mahalach. I mean, of course, we said the Yerushalmi's language of Mahalach Kemeniach. Rabbanan love the Mahalach Kemeniach. Rabbanan disagree. No, Mahalach is not Kemeniach. Rav Chisda shal Ravuna. Chisda asked Ravuna. Al daita Rabbi Ben Azai. According to Ben Azai, ein adam is chayav toch arba amos leolam. A person can never become chayav in hotzah of 4 amos. Became a shotzi nasik mishenicha kol ama v'ama yet potter. So once he takes it out, each and he's carrying it, each and every moment he's putting it down. So he never took it 4 amos. So how is he chayav? And Yerushalmi doesn't answer. I believe if I recall correctly in the Bible, it says about bezorek, or you toss it, etc. It's some similar scenario. Rav Yehuda B'Shem Rav said, "Hakomodi b'motzi shu potter." Everybody agrees. No. If you actually walk something out from Rishus Rabin to from one Rishus to another Rishus to a Carmelist, you're potter. Dibra Kol. Rav Yehuda named Rav said, everybody agrees. Shem Halik Miniach. When you walk something, it's if it's put down. Maplikim Mizorik. No machlis is by tossing. Ben Azai Poter. Ben Azai exempts you. And this is a different sheet of Ben Azai. Ben Azai, according to this, Ben Azai, it's not because of Mahal everybody holds that way. Rather, Ben Azai, Avi Kamlis Kimamosha. And as I hold that the airspace of Carmelist is like its substance, and if it's munach in the Carmelist. Rabbanan Avdin Carmelist Klamosha. Rabbanan do not say a Carmelist, the airspace of Avdin Carmelist Klamosha. They don't say the airspace of Carmelist is like its substance. Masisim Saidin. There's a brisa for Rav Huna's version name of Rav. That the machlekes is by Mahalach Kemeniach, and a brisa for the which is evidence to Rabbi Yehuda's version of Rav that machlekes is by Zorech. Masisim Saidin. The Ridbaz changes this to the first one to Rav Yehuda, and the second one, which we'll see in a couple of lines, to Rav Huna. So Masisim Messiah le Rabbi Yehuda. Haya Omeid B'Rishus Rabim. If somebody's saying Rishus Rabim, B'Zorach L'dir or L'sar Derech Carmelis, and he threw into a corral or another type of enclosure through a Carmelis, he's chayev. V'Imhotzi Potter. If he did Otzah, he's Potter. So here you're saying Rishus Rabim, and you threw into a dir Sar through a Carmelis, you're chayev. But if you're B'Motzi, you're Potter. So we see clearly everybody holds Masim Halach Kemeniach, because it says just a stam brisa Imhotzi Potter. And the whole issue, the question is whether Zorak is chayev. But Hotzi, everybody agrees, is Potter. Actually, it's not even a question here, right? It's saying that Zorek is chayev, because like Rabbanan will argue with Ben Azai. So this is going like saying that according to Rabbanan will argue Ben Azai, clearly the only Zorek is chayev, but Mahalech is Potter. That's a riot to Rabbi Yehuda. Masisim Messiah le Rav Huna. I said before the Ridbaz changes Girsa, that says that to Rav Huna says that no, the Rabbanan argued by Mahalech Miniach on Ben Azai. Hamosi ochin there's no such skupa. So in this brisa says somebody takes out food and puts it on the threshold. Ben shechos v'tziyah and ben shotzian acher, whether he then picked it up from the threshold, which is a karmelis, and took it, completed the malacha, or somebody else completed the malacha, potter. That shelo asa malachton malachton basachas, because the malacha is not done in one fell swoop. So even if he himself picked it up and continued the malacha, he's potter. But the inference is, if he did the malacha in one fell swoop, in other words, he walked continuously without putting it down, so then he's chayiv. Ben Azai says, I feel also malacha basachas potter. Ben Azai, the one who says that potter, because obviously also malacha minyan. So when you walk through that on the skopa, it's as if you put it down on the askopa. So that clearly is a raya for Rav Huna, that there's a machlokes by Mahalach Keminiach, Ben Azai Patas, Rabbanan say at your chayiv. So V'hat Ninan, so when I asked him, we learn, the Mishnah increases, when we learned this yesterday, but Shabbos Votzio, it was Shabbos, he was eating something, chalev, and he had a whole bunch of Yisurim, and by Meir adds that the additional issue that he was eating on Shabbos and he was Motzit, then he's chayav on Shumasav. Armulo, ain't a shame. They said this is not part of, not similar to the other Yisurim we said before. We talked about that one is needs an ochsmayim, the other chayav menos goron. She said chayav mishum mahalech, v'zeh chayav mishum niach. That this one is chayav on account of walking. In other words, it's chayav even when he's walking, and this chayav only when he does actually is hanochas, because it's hanos goron, which is chayav. This chayav mishum niach. The other one is chayav only when it's miniach. The Gemara gave the case where he's standing still and he extends his hand, etc., etc. We had this the other day. So the Gemara says, Al daited Rav Huna the lo Ben Azai. So according to Rav Huna, that's not Ben Azai, because according to Ben Azai, well, your Mahalach chayav as well, because Mahalach is K'meniach. So therefore, there's no delay. While walking, it's ready to be Meniach. Al daited Rav Huda lo Ben Azai lo Rabbanon. Rav Huda doesn't work on the Ben Azai and nor like Rabbanon, because according to both Malach K'meniach, and here clearly seems there's a time of Hanacha which comes subsequently to the time of when you're walking. Now, this clearly doesn't go with the answer which we gave the other day, which is to say that, well, he's stationary. So it's not an issue. And that's really what the Gemara says in the next line here. So the Gemara says, Amar B'China said, Manu Amar Lo. So who's Amar Lo? This bright's going like no, this Mishnah's going like nobody, right? Who's the Amar Lo? So if you hold, everybody holds Mahalach K'meniach. So the Gemara says, Amar Chanina Manu Amar Lo Chacham Shim Kashitas Ben Azai. Chacham are going like the Shita Ben Azai, and the Pnei Moshe explains. Go read the Pnei Moshe inside. Manu Amar Lo Chacham Kashitas Ben Azai. Klomar Afilu K'ben Azai. This Mishnah can go like Ben Azai. Va'ayre, and so like we said, B'shoy Mutar Skopo. He's standing on the threshold. Mixas Ivnim. He's standing part inside. Upil Chutz and mouth is outside. Pasha Yoda and extend his hand. He took the food and he ate it. She'en kan hiluch. There's no issue of walking. Like we explained previously, a Rabbi Yossi. That's one possibility. Inami, or else says maybe much another possibility. So Rechanina Hotzahada Amulo, that which they said to him, Ein min Hashem, Hainu she'ein chatazu mishum achila mishum motzah. It's true that they come simultaneously, because Mahalach K'meniach, but it doesn't matter because it's not counted as one of the Yisurim, because one is on account of eating, one is on account of Hotzah. Okay, now we're going to ask Rabbi Yochanan Boy. Rabbi Yochanan asked, Haya Ome B'Rishus Rabbim B'Zark V'Kidma Kolta Mao. Somebody was standing with Rishus Rabbim and he tossed something, and he ran and he caught it. What's the status? So it says Gemara V'La Masnisi is not a Mishnah. Kolta Acher Kolta Keleb Oshnisava Potter. Somebody tossed something, and a dog caught it, or it became, or it got burnt up, he's potter. And I'm not sure what I meant here. I think I just took out said two dots here in the Vilna, and I think I took it out. It's not in the article, that's for sure. Okay, so Rishul B'Shem Mevizir said b'chaytiv kain. So this is so the Gemara's question is says, again going back and taking out those two dots. V'lam Astisa is not a Mishnah. We call it Acher called it Kevosh is a potter. If you caught it, then you're a potter. So Rishul B'Shem Mevizir said no b'chaytiv kain. That's when you grabbed it mid-flight. You grab mid-flight, then it arrests the Maisota, which is done, and you're potter. Ha'im kolat chayiv, but if you caught it, you're chayiv, because then that catching is different than grabbing. So ma ben nochel oretz nochel toch yodo. There's no difference between when you land on the ground and land in your hand if it didn't arrest the mice in the middle. Okay, so Tama lomu chayev. The Ridbaz says that the question is Perush lama taman chayev achim bi boilach. Why there where kolat acher is a pasha that you're chayev? I'm sorry. Why there where somebody else is kolat, not chaytif. Somebody else actually it's like Rav Shmuel says it's only b'chaytif. So why there where kolat somebody else it's pasha that you're chayev, and you're asking why you're asking here why whether he's chayiv or not. Why should not be pasha? So Tam Alamu chayiv, and why here is it a question? Tam Huzar v'char kibel, because there he tossed in somebody else's makabelit. Baram hacha the here Huzar hu kibel. Here that but here he tossed it, and he caught it. So therefore it's a question. Says more. Why is that a question? Utei pshita lei, here it says shu potter, but Korban Eidah changed it, and I think makes sense. Korban Eidah changed it. Utei pshita lei shu chayev. So what? Well, it should still be chayev. Iluzar mean votzi you call it small. If you tossed with your right hand and you were motzi, and then you caught it with your left hand, shem in a chayev is he not chayev min hadin? I can't read what it says here. I wrote too much of my Gemara. 1 second. Okay, got it. Shem min chayev min hadin piv, and so so it really Zarek mean what's really small is our question, right? So really the issue is. Let's read that again. Tape shilu shu chayiv. Zarek mean what's small. Hotzi kol small. Shem min chayev min hadin piv. He's not chayiv just like the mouth case. The Korban Eidah explains here. I said before the Pnei Moshe, I was reading the Korban Eidah. I made a mistake. Sorry. Before I was reading the Korban Eidah, I said Pnei Moshe. I still was residual from Zroim. So again, the Korban Eidah says here, Shem ein chayiv midin piv kechadim nasu toch piv of lo havalei kanocha b'chayev. When you put it in your mouth and you swallowed it, it's like it's noch and chayiv. So here it should be the same thing. What in man noisim yodo chaverta yechayiv. You put from one hand to another, you should be chayiv. So what's the question? V'kas molok piv lav ka'acheru. Its mouth is so his mouth is considered to be like is someone to be a piv. Not sure about this. It says, "Bitmia vada tamoda dava ka'acher." So the mouth, you say it's like another person, and you're chayiv. It's as if you toss Reuven to Shimon, and you're chayiv. So because molo ka'acheru, so it says, "Well, yeah, that." Not sure about this. 1 second. Yeah, okay. I wrote something more, which is not correct. Piv lav ka'acheru because molo ka'acheru, and here because molo ka'acheru. Also left hand. It's like tossing somebody else. There was no difference. Just like his mouth is as if it's avida machshavto, and as if you did a ma'aseh by passing somebody else. Too, doing from one hand to the other hand. It's like giving somebody else, and it's a classical ma'aseh. It should be a chayiv. Just like our Mishnah, right? Where you have from the ani to the Ba'abayis ani. The other interpretations here, I wrote inside Gemara, that's the Yerushalmi and the Nir have the interpretations of Gemara, but it's going to go to the Karban Eidah. So Gemara says, now, everybody agrees that if you toss with your right hand and quote with your left hand, you're chayiv. The question is, when you toss with your right hand and quote with your right hand, it ain't. I guess that's considered to be as significant at all that you should be chayiv or you're not chayiv. So this question is fascinating. It's not the Bavli for the best of my recollection, and because this obviously Yerushalmi has a perspective that malacha was thought to be significant, it has to end up somewhere else other than it than it began. And even if it you went 4 amos, if it end up in your right hand and you throw it with your right hand, it's a possibility here according to Yerushalmi you're potter. Going from right to left might consider significant, but not from right to right. Fascinating Gemara. We shouldn't bring it down evidently at Shabbos Tafei, the Rashba, the Ran, the Bad Torah should bring it down from the Ran. But in any event, so Gemara says, Rabbi Kisar and Rabbi Shemi, Rabbi said, "I feel Zog be me, we call it small, tzvichale chayav." I said, no, I even have a question where you toss in the right hand and call with your left hand. Maybe you're going to be part of there as well. It's not. I have a question whether chayav. Tzvichale. It's a question of chayav. There people are going to ask, well, what about the mouth? Is chewing it and swallowing your chayav? Your mouth, once you eat it, it's like somebody else. Went from one place to another place. So here, do you say yodo kacher? Okay, and sorry, he wants to say, Taka, that even you go from hand to hand, you're still going to be potter. I know that everybody agrees if a person's okay b'yamina minech b'shmol is potter divrei hakol if he has long hands, long arms, and from one arm to the other arm it's a distance of 4 amos, but he hasn't moved from his place at all. So nothing significant has been done. The only question is where some movement has occurred, but it's and start up in one hand and end up in the other hand. So now we have one of these really incredible Yerushalmis. So Gemara is just amazing. But Mona Boy, right? Mona asks, according to the opinion which will say you're chayiv if you go from right hand to left hand. So it sounds like your 2 hands have a disconnect between the 2 of them, and that's why go right hand to left hand specifically, not from right to right, from right to left. So it's from as if one person did that here and the other person did that nocha. That's the case. What's the kurgeres b'shtei yodav? If you took a kurgeres out with 2 hands, you should be potter. Wow, amazing Yerushalmi, right? It should be potter because 2 people did this in one malacha. 2 hands are 2 different people. So they, like we said, that's why if you threw one hand to the other hand, you're chayiv. So therefore, 2 hands in the malacha of carrying together, it's like shnaim shasua. It should be potter. So great question. So Amar Lei Rabbi Chia Bar Adar Chia said v'doi bar soisa. He says that no. Is this an issue of us? This doesn't. It still qualifies as basoisa. You think it's not as a specific individual. The person who did it is one person. So you think there's a problem in basoisa? One person did his chayiv, 2 or 3 people did his part. In other words, it goes by the individual, by the person, not by Even though it's in the two hands, it's two different places. It's ki'ilu, it's two different places, but it's still one person doing it. So of course you're going to be chai regardless. So I have another statement named Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan, hey, I made it with Shus Rabbi Mikol Geshamim Mavir Mechitzos. There's at least a similar Gemara in the Bavli. If somebody was standing with Shus Rabbi and he caught rainwater coming off the space of the airspace of walls, which is a Rishus Yachid, and he took it out, he's chayav. Boom Barachia B'Shem Azir said, "B'chaytev kenu, I'm called potter." So the Korban explains, you have to seize the rain from on top of a inclined wall. So inclined wall is Rishus Yachid. You grabbed it from there. Lishna Achrina, another interpretation. The flow was coming down. And he hit with one hand. And you took the word with your other hand. You did akira by when you took it from when you pushed it into your other hand. Then potter. Then if you just you just put it, you were passive. So there's no akira, then you're potter, right? So that's the Korban Eda. Again, Ephraim says that you need both hands have to go to the Makam Daled. Okay, that's I'm not looking at Ephraim besides, so I'm not sure why he says that. In any event, the Gemara says, if you're passive, there's no difference between somebody else putting you there and come raining into your hand. You need to do an akira. So therefore it has to be a chotaf, where you're doing a maisa, not if you're just kolat, because then you're just getting it and not doing a maisa akira. Asik Rebbe. Now, the fascinating Yerushalmi says, Asik Rebbe, that the Avir Mechitzos should be considered to be Rishus Yachid is going like Rebbe. The Rebbe of Avir Mechitzos Kamamoshan. Rebbe in the Bavli says, basically, on the Maya Damya. If you have a house, it's as if it's full. And it's any airspace in the house is going to be as if it's a solid. But here, in the Yerushalmi, it's different. And actually, Pnei Moshe makes that connection to that Bavli, but this is different. Here it says even Avir Mechitzos, without having a roof, it's still considered to be Kimamasha, and therefore that's when you're taking from the airspace of the walls, the Kosa Mashupa. It's as if you're taking from a they're considered to be in that Rishus HaYachid at that time, and you're moving that Rishus HaYachid for Rishus HaYachid. Chachamim would argue, say, as long as they're in the airspace, they haven't fallen to the ground, they're not considered to be in Munach and Rishus HaYachid. The ArtScroll brings down also here this issue of basic command, the Maya Damya, and brings down a Gemara, another Yerushalmi later on, who says, the Rebbe says that even with house which is not covered, which seems to be the interpretation also of Rebbe over here. Okay, so that brings us to the end of Dalet Amud Beis.